Now today we've all been gobsmacked by the ash cloud from the volcanic eruption in Iceland, resulting in the closure of British airspace for the first time since 9/11.
The ash has caused massive inconvenience for travellers all over the country and across Europe. Here at the One Show, we want to get to the bottom of these explosions, so we have hired a volcanologist, a man who knows everything there is to know about Big Bangs.
Today we're calling him Dr. Volcano.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much of love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
This is the stuff of Hollywood. Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. That's when things get really exciting.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
Please welcome Durham University's Dr. Dougal Jerram, Dr. Volcano.
Dr. V, or Dougal, welcome to the programme. What on earth is going on today?
Well, today, and for the last couple of days, there's been a rather large volcano going off in Iceland. And I guess what's special about that volcano at the moment is it's charged with gases, and those gases mean that it's actually erupting ash high into the atmosphere. Now, ash itself is actually the material that's made from broken bubbles. So as the bubbles get close to the surface and expand and explode, it's making really fine material go high up into the atmosphere.
Come on, let's see some, because you brought some of this very offending ash in here today.
Here's some examples of ash from the Mount St Helens eruption in 1980. And go on, get your fingers dirty, get into that. You'll feel it's really, really fine material, isn't it? It's almost silty, sort of muddy material, getting into almost every nook and cranny. Now, you can imagine that going up, you know, 10, 20, 30,000 feet into the air, right into the area where planes normally cruise, and getting into engines. That would cause all sorts of problems.
Well, you say that, but I mean, I've got it on my fingers, and it feels like a fine powder. Could that actually, that really could bring down a plane?
Yeah, there's tons and tons of this material being ejected into the sky. And the problem is, you imagine driving your car into a sandstorm. All of the sand's going to get into all the air ventilation, into the carburettor. It's all going to go and then stop. And that's what happens to aircraft engines if they fly into a volcanic ash cloud.
So it affects engines. Does it affect us? Should we be worried about our health?
At the moment, we're perfectly okay with it high up in the atmosphere. In fact, probably what it's going to do is if it's a clear night tonight, it's going to give us a lovely sunset. So there's one sort of rose petal that it will give us.
And it's caused really serious disruption for lots of people. How long is it going to go on for? Because Don's going on tour, you know, he needs to know what's going on.
Yeah, this is one of the problems we have with volcanoes. We can kind of monitor them and predict when they're going to start erupting, but how long they exactly go on for, we don't know. This particular volcano can erupt for a short period of time, or it can be months, weeks, even years.
Because you would have thought with all the technology we do have in this world that we'd be able to predict when they'd go off. We could have given people a warning.
Well, indeed, that's the case, and for volcanoes that we see on Iceland and in North America and so on, they're very well monitored. So actually, a couple of days prior to an eruption, you get triggers in the ground that tell you something's going on.
I don't think anybody ever thought there were volcanoes in Iceland.
The whole island's made up of volcanoes. It's actually, yeah, for a land that's termed ice, it's actually very, very hot and molten rock everywhere.
Okay.
Predicting volcanoes. I know there's going to be one in this studio right now, because Mount One Show is just about to erupt. Take us through it, Dr. Volcano.
Okay.
You need some help too, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, what we've got here is just a mock-up of a volcanic system, but, you know, there's a serious element to this. We're trying to explain what happens when you have liquid and gas under pressure in a magma chamber below a volcano, release the top of it, and you're going to get an eruption.
Okay, so we've got our own gas. That's my job, isn't it?
Yes, I hear you've got good dancing legs, so if you can pump up the volume there.
And what liquid have we got in there?
What we've got in here is we've got some vinegar, some bicarbonate of soda, and some food colouring.
Right.
And we need to get that up to a reasonable volume of material.
And materials you find in any kitchen as well, aren't they?
It's starting. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Eruption. Okay? And what we've demonstrated there is that with pressure building up, you can actually explode things. We exploded, what, a metre above our heads there. You imagine what's happening if you've got a massive magma chamber to tap full of tons and tons of gases just wanting to escape, a bit like a massive champagne bottle.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for showing us. Round of applause for Dr. Volcano. And as I said, it has caused serious disruption.